Hello and welcome to the Saturday night stream of the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. Gonna just play a little rapid right now. Oh, hey there. Good to see you. It was a little bit later than I intended, but I had a little difficulty with a curling iron. But we're all here now. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let me just share this link. And then we can get started. How are you doing today? And how's the audio? Excellent. I'm Finby2. Okay, there, that's the link shared. And we can get started properly. I'll just kind of start us out with a little bit of rapid. Okay. Start off with English Exchequer. Ah, bollocks. I did not mean to full screen that. So I need to be able to see chat. Ah, Scandinavian. Does the music need to be turned down at all? Okay. Wish there were a better way to automate this so that I could just automatically have the background audio go up when I am actually doing a reaction video, and down when when it's just background music. But I guess I just have to remember to do it. Because when I did that Xander Hall video, I discovered when I was editing the thing that I had not actually, his voice was way down, and so I had to go through normalizing all of his sections, which of course meant having to listen to his bullshit again. And that's incentive enough for me to remember that I need to get the audio levels right the first time. Okay. Trying to just kick back this bishop. So I really don't like to trade knights with this setup, because the main point of this setup is to get a knight up here on d5, where it's an absolute monster. But first I have to actually get the pawn structure. I gotta get this pawn over here on d3. And do sort of a scuffed Botvinnik, because you can't really do the full one after a Scandinavian, because you lose your c-pawn. Okay, somebody's having a bit of a think. Where is Exchequer from? From NZ. That's what I was expecting. Excellent. Okay. Now I've got two defenders on this F-pawn. I actually wanted to move King H8 anyway, so that's cool. Kick back that bishop even further. D3. Oh, and this pawn's hanging unless black wants to do something with the... And black does. Oh, well, that's perfect, because I actually want to open up the F-file. So, just let them take... Ah, yes. Perfect. Okay. Oh, there's a nice little forking opportunity right here if I can just keep my... Oh shit, even... Okay, if the idea is to take this pawn, which maybe it is, then the fork still works. Oh, that's beaut. Okay. Having another little deep think, it looks like. Maybe they just realized that, that is not a very good place to put one's queen. This is why the knight on d5 is such a fucking monster, too. Because it's just completely up in the other side's position. Ah, the light bulb decided to go out. Okay, compensate. At least this thing has its own built-in LED. Actually, that's kind of a nice sort of mood lighting. Ah, bollocks. Did not mean to do that. Okay. And now then, rook is attacked, and I can... potentially set up another sort of fork. Because if the rook goes here, then the knight will be forking both the queen and the rook. Which would be kind of neat. That's what I was hoping for. Thank you. And the Exchequer still can't take this G-pawn because the knight sees it. Getting a little bit better at this commentary thing. Okay, I think that... Wait, I can just take that, right? Yes, I can just take that. That was an odd idea. And the queen is still hanging. Okay. Now, what can I do with that? That's kind of an annoying place. I mean, they can't take the pawn and they can't take this knight. But, so, what is the threat here? Oh, well, I can just threaten this, this bishop here. Maybe have a little fun that way. Exchequer seems to have reached another moment of uncertainty. Okay. Has this opened up anything that would be useful? Oh shit, I can threaten mate. I've got 4 minutes up on time and 5 points of material, and queen takes on c7 would be mate. Although actually it won't be at the moment because that black queen is defending it, but the black queen kind of has to go someplace else at this point. So otherwise I'm just having it. You know, when you break the word shampoo into its constituent parts, you can never go back. Oh, okay. Just giving me the queen. That's fine. I don't really give a shit about this rook at the moment, because the minute I take that bishop, it's mate. Well, I mean, the move after it, unless... Oh, this is the piece I'm learning to play on the piano right now. 장군별. Oh, ass balls. Okay. Open it, put diagonal on the king. Break the pin. 상대가 모르기를 요청합니다. Take back. Okay, I'll give it to you. 일 없어. Okay. That looks like a good move on material grounds, but actually, the thing is, the one thing that Exchequer had going at this point was the bishop pair. And now it's just one cheap-ass bishop. So this is the part where I have to start converting. Well, oh, 7 seconds left, no wonder. Yeah, on that kind of time trouble. And that's GG. It's always nice when I actually win on stream. Like, invariably, my best games are, like, right after streaming. Because it's just hard. I have a lot of respect for the people who actually manage to, comment and play Amazing Chess at the same time, because that is hard. I'm only just beginning to get the hang of that. Let's see. Legend Amala Ekpunobi confronts protesters on university campus. Okay. Time for a bit of cringe.
Hi guys, we're live.
Okay, let's get that res up a little bit. And turn the volume up. There we go.
Hi guys, we're live at Winona State University. I have my canned foods for these protesters. We're gonna go out and bring it to them. We're gonna see how it goes. They're outside with signs.
Okay, so she has canned food for protesters? Okay, this is making about as much sense as I would expect it to at this point.
Apparently, so far, they have been pretty hostile towards the people trying to speak to them, but I'm gonna go and try and do it. I've got my
Well, who's been trying to speak to them?
canned foods here for the protesters. Let's see if I can get them to come into the event. Let's take a look at the signs that they have. probably calling me rancid and a fascist. So follow me along for this journey.
Well, I mean, you gotta kind of expect that when you hitch your wagon to the Coke Star.
I'm sorry if it gets a little loud here in the middle. I wanted you guys to see this live. We're going outside. Let's see if we can have some conversations.
Now, let's see if she can manage to fuck this up not quite as badly as Caitlin Bennett does when she tries to do the exact same thing and gets massively pooned every time.
If you guys are just,
hopping
hopping into the live, I'm here at Winona State University. There's people protesting me outside. We're gonna bring them some food. See if...
What do you bring them some food? What the fuck are they supposed to do with canned food? What the hell even is that? What are they gonna do? Like, fucking go and microwave it? They're protesting. I mean, if you want to bring them food, get them some takeaway. Get them a fucking pizza. Cheap bastards.
They will talk to me or not.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if there's any conversation starter, it's like, why the fuck are you handing out canned food to random people? I mean, I guess that's as good a conversation starter as any.
Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Where are we? Okay.
I love the Blair Witch camera work here, too. That's really nice.
You guys can see? There they are.
Watch your step.
I almost tripped down the stairs. Okay. Guys, follow me. Let's take a look at what's going on. Okay.
Well, then maybe you have to point the camera away from yourself to give us a look what's going on.
So, College Gems. Hi, guys. Hi. We met earlier. Brought some...
Oh, God, it's college Democrats. God, this is going to be wankers against wankers.
Food for your food drive.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a food drive.
How many of you guys are out here? 30. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Good. How are you? Good. I'm just...
Like, does she understand that the idea is to kind of show everyone else what the hell's going on? I mean, and not that it isn't captivating to look at her carotid.
Live streaming, just wanted to come and talk to you guys for my event and everything. What brings you guys out here?
Food drive.
If anybody wants to talk.
Food drive.
So they're not protesters at all. They're having a fucking food drive. So, okay, supposedly she's confronting protesters, and actually it's just some Democrats having a food drive? That's the protesters? I mean, I'm not hearing any protesting. This is just...
Cool. What else?
Most of the food drive.
Okay. I'm just...
Yeah, okay, so she's confronting a food drive on a university campus. Fuck, she's brave. God, I mean, I don't know if I could manage to confront a food drive. That just takes courage. I mean, I guess when you make your money explaining why poor people should just sort of fucking starve, I guess it would take a little bit of courage, but I don't know. I guess somebody realized that, that donates canned food to some cordial liberals was not going to necessarily get the clicks.
Is it okay if I film your signs? I'll try not to put your face in it. Is that all right?
Oh, okay, there is a protest, a fucking quiet one. Okay, and they could have edited this. Okay, stop spreading false information.
So I'm wondering if you guys would be willing to come inside and listen to the event. Why is that?
Well, because it's a fucking PragerU event and nobody with any discernment will subject themselves to it. Which is how you know I am lacking in discernment. Hearing everything okay?
Your organization is known for spreading hateful information that is, just blatantly not true.
Okay, so can you give me an example of the hateful information that... Down.
Oh, okay. I mean, you can barely hear them. Again, I mean, they're very well funded. They could have afforded somebody to normalize the audio like I did on the last fucking Xanderhall video. It isn't that hard. So the issue is racist misinformation about U.S. history. Okay, that's valid. What's she gonna say?
Playing it, how so?
Bring up your fucking video.
Yeah, you can bring up the video if you'd like. I would really appreciate it.
I don't represent this group. I was just invited here, so
Sure.
I use my words to spread hate against these fine people.
Oh, I don't spread any hate, and that's why
She doesn't spread any hate. Yeah, right.
I want to invite you guys to come in and actually listen to the speech. I think it's important. So,
Okay, inviting people to listen to your bullshit, that is one of the most hateful things you could do in this situation, though.
for those of you who don't know me, I used to work for the left myself. If you
This again. Yes, the backstory where she worked for the left, except nobody seems to... None of the biographical information I can find on her actually says what the left actually means in this case. Except there were some vague hints that maybe it was just like some sort of local Democratic Party organization, so... Yeah.
check my arm right here, you'll see a nice little civil rights fist on my arm because that's what I used to work for, and that's what I
So she used to be for... Okay, that's kind of mask off there.
used to represent. Coming here to actually talk about that story and what I do now for PragerU, I would really appreciate it that if you're going to protest something or somebody when they're speaking on a campus, that you should probably listen to what they have to say.
That's kind of not the point of protesting them. The idea of protesting somebody's presence is to make them feel unwelcome and reduce the likelihood that anyone actually goes and sees them. That's the whole point. I mean, admittedly, this is just a couple of people and they're being way too quiet to be disruptive, which is unfortunate. I mean, but the idea, if you're going to protest people going to see the representative of a right-wing bullshit factory, then you should just go listen to them. That does not exactly compute.
And the event is free. You can have seats and whatever row
Yeah,
you
that's
like.
the objection, of course. That's why they're protesting, because they thought that they charged entry, and they couldn't get seats.
You can come up and ask me questions as soon as the Q&A starts.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Nobody actually is interested in your scripted bullshit.
Because I think if you're going to protest somebody, it's pretty important that you listen to what they have to say first and see if it's even worth the protest.
Well, the thing is, you're not like some unknown quantity. I mean, I like this idea that people couldn't possibly already know what kind of shit is going to come out of her mouth. Although I have to say, she is really much better at this than Caitlin Bennett.
Because I'm seeing signs that say hate. I'm seeing signs that say false information. I'm seeing that hate does not make America great. And I agree with all of those statements.
If you agreed with all of those statements, you wouldn't be working for fucking PragerU, though, is the thing.
I don't agree with hate. I don't agree with false information.
Oh, wait, okay, you don't agree with it, you just spread it?
I agree. I think the food drive is great. It brought you guys food. But I think it's interesting that we're saying we're here for a food drive and you're all holding signs that say hate doesn't belong at WSU. Hate does not make America great. No human is illegal. Welcome to a real university.
Yeah, you see, confronts protesters. This is like the fucking most low-key protest imaginable. Like, did they have no lead time for this thing?
So I'm curious as to what is the barrier between you and the door into the event? Does anybody
The hate and the false information, they already said.
Yeah, but it doesn't, but your signs don't, you're here to support a food drive, but your signs don't say food drive.
Well, one of the signs probably says food drive.
Is there anyone from the
I did bring food, yes. Yeah, but your signs don't say food drive.
Oh, well, gee. I mean, then obviously this is one big machination. It's a dastardly scheme to acquire canned food under the guise of a food drive when, in fact, they're protesting racist bullshit and false information and allowing PragerU to be on campus. I mean, she's totally rumbled them.
They say no more PragerU. Yeah, you're welcome for your donation. And I thank you for actually coming to my table and speaking to me. And this young man actually came to my table. We had civil discourse. We debated each other.
Which, again, that shouldn't happen. There's literally no reason to do it. There is absolutely nothing to be gained from it.
Earlier today, I would ask that of all of you. I think that's super important.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I mean, I actually wrote a thing about this several years ago about TERFs were trying to have a debate. That was their thing at the time. They wanted to have a debate. They kind of still do that stuff. And the whole point of that is, I mean, that it actually gives you a foot in the door when you're flogging some sort of right-wing, fascy, bigoted shit. Because if you're in a debate, that means clearly you are entitled to a seat at the table. So, I mean, this is like, nobody should ever just take them up on this. There is absolutely nothing to be gained from it.
So what is the barrier? Does anybody else have a barrier that's stopping them from going into this event?
We just personally don't want to.
You plan on going in? That's great. That's great. I really appreciate that. I think
Well, what she said was, we just personally don't want to.
more people should. Because I used to protest things all the time, and a lot of times it was things that I didn't understand that I was going to protest. And it's important that you go in and try to understand people.
Again, what the fuck? Do you think that people just decided to randomly show up to protest PragerU without ever hearing of it?
Before you make hateful signs for them.
Hateful signs? What? Stop spreading false information? How? Where's that? That's not hateful. That's actually extremely mild. There isn't even a single fuck in it.
Super important. Anybody else? Does anybody else have an actual qualm with anything that I've said or done?
Well, apart from the ones you still haven't addressed about the racist videos about U.S. history and all the bogus information, I mean, you still haven't actually said anything about those.
That they're personally protesting here today? Or did you just hear the words PragerU, and then you were told that we were a hateful organization, and then you made a sign that says as much?
Well, I mean, you just have to go to your fucking YouTube page to see that you're a horrible, hateful organization. I mean, you have a guy with a fucking nonce mustache who pretends to be outraged over Muppet babies because they acknowledge that trans people and gender variants exist. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hateful, don't you think?
And showed up in
like, cartoonishly.
But I work, so I've heard this argument.
I know, but
Right.
yeah, we've seen what like stand for PragerU as a
So,
The main reason we're here is for the SpaghettiOs, guys.
sure. So if you're protesting PragerU, an organization that I work for and advocate for, you are in a way protesting my beliefs. I stand by the beliefs of PragerU.
Well, yes, then they are completely right to be protesting you.
So is there a particular belief that hurts you that you can't come and listen to?
Yeah, oh good, they're starting to just drown her out, because they're just giving her content, and that's kind of annoying. I mean, they've done pretty well, I have to say. They haven't said anything that she can really use, so she's just been deflecting by pretending that none of it was actually said. But actually, yeah, and now they're just kind of shouting SpaghettiOs, which is cute, and also does a good job of kind of Yeah, drowning her out a little bit.
SpaghettiOs, guys. SpaghettiOs. This is the argument. This is the argument.
No, the argument was that that you publish all sorts of false information and racist shit, and you still haven't addressed it.
It's clearly not about a food drive. I'm looking at your signs right now. It's interesting that I'm standing in front of a crowd of people, a lone person, asking for civil discourse.
Yeah, you're not entitled to people's fucking time. Amala Ekpunobi. And her backstory is that she supposedly worked for the left. Hello, by the way. Before discovering that there's much more money at PragerU. I mean, I tried to figure out where she worked before this. I mean, she doesn't look all that old, so she couldn't have all that much history there. But I could never find in all the, like, biographical stuff any indication of where she actually worked, what left group that she supposedly was in. Apart from a couple of vague allusions to actually maybe just being some Democratic Party front group. So, fuck knows.
And there are very few of you, albeit she's going to come in. I had a guy earlier come and actually have civil discourse with me. But you guys, standing in a crowd of people, are somehow letting the bystander effect settle in right now, and nobody wants to come and have civil discourse.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to you. You got it. I mean, they tried to engage. They pointed out their objections. You just deflected it, and now you're trying to make them look fucking unseemly. Because at the same time as they're having this extremely low-key protest, they're also having a food drive, and that somehow is unseemly. And now you're just trying to goad people with this bullshit about civil discourse. Amala Ekpunobi of PragerU. You see her occasionally, mostly with Will, the nonce mustache guy. They do a thing. Yeah, they're there to sort of, I think, attract the more horrible or gullible members of Generation Z.
Yes, okay, but you're silently protesting ideologies. I'm standing here saying, let's talk about our ideologies.
Well, except that they mentioned their objection. You still haven't addressed it.
Let's talk about the differences in those ideologies. You tell me why I'm wrong, and if you're right, I will concede that. Is it not the goal of the polarity right now to end it?
No. Why would you be ending the polarity? First of all, what does it mean? Okay, is it not the goal of the polarity? Wait, so what the hell does that even mean? The polarity does not have a goal. Oh, she means the polarization, I'm pretty sure. But is the goal not to end it? No, not necessarily. I mean, it depends on what ending it means, surely.
The division that's happening right now? How do you think you end division in a country? You talk it through. Yeah.
Who says that ending division is the goal, though?
Nobody is willing to come forth and have a conversation.
You keep shutting down the conversation.
This is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is me, standing here by myself, and this is a group of 40 plus people.
Oh, it was 30 people a second ago. Okay.
Not a single one of them will come up and have a conversation.
They tried. You realize that that if you're going to make this claim, you got to edit the stuff out. It's not enough to just not normalize the audio.
Not a single one. But I'm hateful. I'm hateful. Hate does not make America great. Stop spreading false information. Anti-fake news. Stop.
Well, I mean, so yes, you're just reading their fucking signs. Okay. Yes, they're against bullshit. Well, against some bullshit. The Democrats are standing around there as well. They're very much against only some bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, she's 20 years old. That's what I thought. And her whole thing was that she supposedly was working for the left. And then she found Thing. And then she found her way to PragerU. And, I mean, like, I'm not sure when she's even supposed to have had this career on the anonymous left. Given that she's only 20 and she's been doing this for at least a year, I think. I mean, I think I've seen videos with her going back at least a year or two. So, I mean, when is she supposed to have worked for the left in fucking junior school?
Stop the lies. Stop the hate. PragerU is here to hate.
Well, yes, and that works in two ways. Because it's excellent to for hate watching, and they are specifically here for the purpose of spreading bigotry.
Here to hate. I'm so hateful standing here asking people to come forth and talk to me. And nobody will do it. No.
Yeah, I figured Nigerian from the name, because I think that's an Igbo name. But are you finding anything about this this political backstory of hers? Because I looked and I did not find any specifics at all.
Nobody will do it. This is truly remarkable. It's truly. Anybody on this side? Does anybody want to come and tell me what about my ideology that they don't like and challenge it?
See, the trouble with this strategy here, she really should have ended this thing a few minutes ago. Because if she goads people enough, they've had time to actually think about what the most embarrassing thing that they could say on camera. So somebody, I mean, there's still, what, 6 minutes roughly, no, still about 7 minutes roughly left in this video for somebody to come up and just completely make a deal of her.
No, I'm not.
That's what I thought, Dem front.
Oh, wait, what did you just say?
Let me see if I'm gonna... Okay, chat is providing... Let's get chat up here. Find a good home for chat. Is chat so that everybody can see the information. I'm not great at this layout thing yet, but I'm gonna get there. Okay, that way anyone watching this later can actually see all the conversation going on there.
Hey, you don't watch my videos? But you're here.
I checked out your webpage, so I kind of know your ideologies, and I've heard about your ideologies,
Okay.
and I don't agree with it.
What don't you agree with?
Well, you said some transphobic things in the past.
Like-
Transphobic things have been said on the channel.
Like what?
Okay. See, this is the mistake she made. She should have ended this thing before this happened. Because the other people kind of let it go that she dismissed their objections and then pretended nobody had actually said any specific objections. Incidentally, this is, for anyone not familiar, well, maybe everybody watching right now is familiar, this is sales training. They teach you about addressing objections. The whole idea is that if you can get people to articulate their objections, you can that allows you to manipulate them better.
I can't quote you, so I'm pretty sure. I don't even have my phone. That's hard.
Somebody get her a phone so she can look up the transphobic statements.
Yeah,
Okay, somebody get them a phone so they can look up what is transphobic that we've said. I would appreciate it.
well, like, how much fucking time have you got? I thought you had a speech to give. Like, you've done entire, like, hour-long things that are nothing but transphobic shit.
Anybody else have anything to say that they hate about PragerU? What is that? In what way do you believe that systemic racism exists?
Well, I mean, what do you mean, in what way? I mean, how many different ways are there to believe that? It's like either you believe it or you don't believe it. Why do you believe that it exists? I mean, that is, like, at the very least, an intelligible question. But, yeah.
Racism is a problem, so deeply that it might not, be something that affects you every day, but
Okay.
it's generational trauma.
So what is systemic about I completely agree with you that racism exists in America. So long as race exists, racism does exist. My question is the systemic part.
And this person is sounding like, I mean, they've gotten into generational trauma, which is definitely a thing and certainly fits in with the issue of systemic racism, but they weren't very prepared to go here.
Yes.
People of color still have trouble, are still turned down for housing loans disproportionately in America?
Yeah, did you know that with redlining, this is often an argument used by the left to talk about systemic racism in America, that black people are denied at black banks at an even higher rate than they are denied at white banks?
Well, yeah, that's why it's fucking, assuming that's true, which, I mean, for all I know, this might actually be true, but that's what they mean by systemic. That's where systemic comes into it. It isn't fucking individual bad actors. This is not the gotcha she thinks it is.
In fact, white people are denied at a higher rate for mortgages and loans and lendings than Asian people are. I don't see anybody here coming to bat about the redlining that is happening towards white people.
Because there isn't any.
Yet it's all towards black people. Visions of the Anointed, written by Thomas Sowell. You can Google it right now. Black people are disproportionately denied for loans at black banks. See, now we're hearing sources.
Oh, God, I mean, and this is, of course that's going to be her fucking source. Because it's always Thomas Sowell. In fact, if you look at the background in the PragerU studio thing where they have these things, you'll see a picture of Thomas Sowell in there, right next to the shelf with all the graveyard of racist brand icons.
Sources. Often a combative statement of the left to source it. When we actively have computers in our pockets while I'm live streaming, that you can look up the facts that I'm giving you right now.
You haven't, except the thing is that the one fact that you've provided actually not only does not negate their systemic racism, but is an example of it. Yeah, exactly. What black banks? Yeah, this is, see, I mean, as far, these people were totally unprepared to have this conversation, and now this is falling apart. They should have just told her to fuck off. You know, thanks for the canned food, now bugger off, give your bullshit speech, and get out of here. But instead, they've ended up in a discussion on camera, specifically for content for these assholes, where they're unprepared and are not going to end up. It's going to be very easy for them to spin this. Yeah, what black banks is a very good question, because it isn't like there are a whole lot of them. It's...
Actively. We have selective outrage in this country,
speaking.
and it's selective outrage towards people who look like me.
Yeah, selective outrage is kind of your profession, yes. I mean,
It's a massive effort to label people who look like me as a victim, which is what we're going to talk about in this right now. There's a massive amount of white students right now out here, and I don't even need to use the race card.
Okay, and this is precisely, I mean, that's kind of the problem here. Because...
But a massive amount of white students out here talking
That's part of the
about black
problem,
oppression
anyway.
in America, to me, as I'm actively talking about it to them. And very few of them want to have civil discourse.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to talk to you because you work for a right-wing bullshit factory that they are protesting. She keeps on saying this civil discourse shit like it's some sort of fucking trump card that she's got, so to speak.
Well, this was meant to be a silent protest, but some of us kind of want to speak up.
Yes, you should want to speak.
Yeah, I mean, also, who the hell... What is this shit, a silent protest? Fuck off. I mean, what is this? Some shit that liberals managed to come up with because they don't want to have an effective disruption like happened with Milo Yiannopoulos in Seattle and fucking Berkeley, etc. I mean, what is silent protest? Fuck off.
Speak up.
Even searching on
Sure.
your site.
No, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. And in 45 minutes when this speech begins...
Bueno, depende del blog, porque es que tengo varios. Tengo varios blogs y estoy publicando en uno u otro, varias, según el tiempo en que me encuentre.
I hope to see the majority of you in there, because that's the whole point of why I'm coming here. I come here to talk to people who support me. I think that's great. But I come here even more to talk to you guys. Like I said...
Yes, because they're providing easy content by just falling for this shit.
I used to work for the left. I was the one organizing these protests. I was...
No, yeah, right. Ah, sí. Chucha. He buscado harto. Casi se me olvida que existe. Yeah. She was the one... Okay, so she's 20 now. She's been working... I mean, or 21, whatever. She's been working with the right-wing noise machine for at least a year. I guess it's possible that she organized a small protest like this at some point during the couple of minutes that would have been left for her time with a Democrat Front group or whatever the hell it is. You didn't find anything out about what specific Democratic Party front group it was, did you? Because that was as far as I was able to get. But, I mean, she's really kind of laying it on thick, her supposed, left history and everything like that. I mean, it's like, it reminds me a bit of Caleb Muppet, who, anytime you, question his stance on anything, will suddenly tell you about every fucking protest he's been somehow involved in since 2000. Except, there's no way she's got that much history.
The one outside picketing people who had different opinions than mine.
Where? Give an example.
Now I'm the one trying to talk to you guys and say, hey, what you believe, although I understand why you believe it, I understand it's very emotional. You want to...
It's not very... I mean, yes, there is an emotional aspect to it, yes. Because you get pissed off when people are spreading a bunch of racist bullshit and trying to justify further atrocities of numerous different sorts. Yeah, I mean, there is an emotional aspect to it, but, I mean, the main point is you work for people who lie for a living and tell fairly hideous lies, and they don't want to talk to you. That was the whole idea. And they should have stuck with that.
But what you're doing right now is not necessarily good.
We're actually here for a food drive. Yeah.
See, that's the statement that I keep hearing. We're here for a food drive.
Yes, and you provided them with canned goods, and they accepted them.
Here for a food drive. So I came and brought food for their food drive.
Yeah, and they accepted it. Okay, she claims to have worked on the left, and she's never heard of people, combining two things, combining a protest and something else. It happens all the fucking time.
Yet, not... Yes, of course. And I encouraged all the people who are coming to this event to also bring food for your food drive. But I'm looking at your signs right now, and...
you encouraged them to do that. Where did you encourage them? Because there's really no point in encouraging them in a video that's going to be published afterwards.
They say hate don't belong at WSU. They say hate has no home here. It says stop spreading false information.
Yeah, yes, and you feel attacked by this. Understandably, because you are spreading false information.
Because I'm asking...
Hate has no home.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is the inference that you're making that somehow my presence here brings hate to this campus.
But it does, is the thing.
That's a wrong inference. Oh my God, you're making that inference. You're making that inference. You're making that inference.
It's not really an inference, though. Well, I mean, okay, yes, actually, in this case it is, because only in the strictest, most formal sense, because it doesn't actually include the intermediate step of PragerU spreads hate, hate has no home here, therefore Amala and her traveling show also don't belong here. So yeah, in the strictest formal sense, yeah, that's an inference, but I mean, they're not inferring that, that she's spreading hate. They can actually just look at her fucking page.
This says, stop PragerU. This says, PragerU brings hate, is what this sign says right here.
Yes, and that's true, and you have given absolutely no reason for anyone to doubt it.
But I'm making an inference.
There's a search bar, you just type in.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of a video that you could construe as being transphobic. I'm thinking of a
Oh, well, I can think of like 3 of them right now, and I'm not even looking at a list. Because there was the one with the Muppet Babies bullshit. There was the one where you had the ROGD woman on to spread that fucking hoax. And there is another one where you we were watching it last night actually on here, where the idea was that what's more offensive, telling the truth about Columbus or telling the truth in sex education? So yeah, I mean, it's not exactly hard to find transphobic content from PragerU. I don't know why you'd even deny it.
5-minute video done by Abigail Schreier called Why Girls Become Boys.
Yeah, that's an example of a transphobic video. He's spreading a fucking hoax based on a bullshit paper that has since been retracted within an inch of its life.
That's probably the video that you're referencing.
Well, certainly one of them. There are a lot of transphobic videos on PragerU.
Off of a book that she wrote called Irreversible Damage. Nothing about that video is transphobic.
Yeah, well, okay. That was at least an attempt to directly address an objection, which I guess we should applaud, because it's... but except that everything about that fucking video is transphobic, including having a fraud like Abigail Schreier on to flog a book that is about promoting child abuse.
So I'm even trying to think of examples.
Yeah, you came up with one of the worst examples I could think of. That video was absolutely horrifying. I mean, it's not the only one.
Yes, I did just say it. I did. Why would it? Because it's not something that we focus on as an organization.
It's not something that you focus on as an organization. Fucking hell. Even for people who don't focus on LGBT stuff, you certainly managed to put up a lot of horrible content on the subject. Yeah, she wrote absolute lies. Yeah, I mean, picking the Abigail Schreier video as an example of something to deny that it's transphobic, I mean, that's really something. Because that is just, like, the absolute worst example. That covers every single thing. That one example. Every single thing that's on their signs is in there. Spreading false information? Check. Because that entire book was false information. Every single thing that she said was a demonstrable lie. Spreading hate? Check. The book was extremely hateful. Cass Eris's deconstruction of irreversible damage? Actually, that would be good content to watch her sit down and see it, but actually, the name Cass Eris isn't ringing a bell, and I'm kind of interested to sit down and watch that.
We have very few videos on our platform that focus on anything that has to do with being LGBTQ in America.
Yeah, and yet I can think of just 3 from the past fucking month.
Why would we?
Because you're a bunch of fucking transphobes, amongst other things.
Why would we? Because, the reason that we don't have a bunch of videos that talk about that is because we don't believe that is central to your identity.
Okay, which is also fucking transphobic. But the thing is, I mean, what she's saying is a fucking lie. Either she does not know her own organization's content, or she is just lying, because I just listed 3 examples, including the Abigail Schreier one, from just the past month. I mean, there is a bunch of stuff on this. Pretty much Jill Simonis, it's all she fucking talks about. It's either, oh my god, children are being taught something approaching truthful history of the United States, or oh my god, children are being taught that that sexuality exists. I mean, those are her only 2 things. She has only 2 topics, and she just harps on them endlessly, along with nonce stash. Okay, I'm gonna have to check her out. Thank you for that. Because I'd love to see somebody really tear into both of those. I'd love to actually see that done. But, I mean, God, this is...
We have gay, lesbian people that work at our organization.
Name one. Name one. Okay, gay and lesbian people. No, she did not say bi or trans.
Every single day they come into work and work for us. We don't think...
Every single day? Okay, that's great. Then you probably will have seen them, and you could fucking name one. Shit, one of them who is on camera. One of them who has any screen time in your huge fucking forest of bullshit that you put out. Name one.
Think that your sexual orientation, your race, or your gender is pivotal to who you are as a person. We believe in you as an individual.
Oh, yeah, fuck off. We believe in you as an individual.
That, we're coming out here for,
And that's exactly why I said I don't have to play the race card. I don't have to. That's why I'm here. You are here to play the race card. What are you talking about?
You were talking about African Americans being denied at black banks.
Because he talked about redlining in America.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I like people who just really go on chapter by chapter. Oh, holy shit. Okay, see, I did not immediately think the all-trans kids who start go to HRT was going to turn out to be completely wrong. Just because the kids who are dysphoric enough that they insist on going through all the bullshit it takes to get to go on blockers would probably be the ones who would probably want to stick with it later. So that didn't immediately ring any bells. But yeah, I'm not actually surprised to find out that the only eligible participants were trans kids who started blockers and went on to HRT. God, I mean, that is impressively dishonest.
So you brought up race.
You asked about it.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's no reason to protest an ideology silently. Come and talk to me about it.
I agree that this whole silent protest thing is crap. Disrupt the thing. That's the whole idea of a protest. What's the point of a protest that nobody notices? Like, the only reason I didn't think there even was a protest because they're so silent and she's not showing anyone. I mean, initially she wasn't showing anything but her neck. I mean, what the fuck is the point of a protest that you could completely miss its existence? Of course, yeah, it's fine. It just doesn't surprise me that, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't surprise me that the overwhelming majority of those who would, feel strongly enough to go on blockers, given how hard it is to get on those in the first place, would probably end up continuing with HRT afterwards. That didn't strike me as, like, a particularly surprising finding. Because, I mean, I would actually be more surprised if it turned out most of the kids who went on blockers didn't go on to HRT, because that would start, I mean, but, oh, what did you learn? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, okay, now I understand. Yeah, I mean, the intent, certainly, although that, the divisional branch of the High Court in Britain, their whole decision rested on the idea that somehow HRT was inevitable if you went on blockers, and so if you couldn't consent to every single aspect of what HRT will do to your life, you couldn't validly consent to blockers. It was also the most ridiculous thing, although they got knocked back on that. Fortunately, the appeals division of the High Court actually turned around and gave them a fairly nice ass kicking.
Here trying to have a civil discussion, and you truly, if you truly believe that they're trying to be silent. They're trying to be silent.
We're trying to be silent, but you have a camera to us, and some of us want to speak out. We're not just going to sit here.
I see cameras.
Well, yeah, of course you see cameras, because they know that that this is going to end up being misrepresented, and they would very much like to show the rest of what you're not going to show.
You think that your audience believes we have no voice?
You have a voice.
Well,
okay.
We have no voice and nothing to say to you.
I'm actively...
see, and that's what they should have stuck with from the start. There was absolutely no good reason to be doing this, especially when she's got a fucking camera on you. I mean, yeah, okay, a microphone.
Standing here saying,
You don't want to have
I do want to have a conversation. Oh my goodness. What? Where's the wall? Where's the wall? Do you want the live stream off so that we can have a civil discussion right now? Okay, guys. They want to have a civil discussion right now off of the live stream, okay? All of this, okay? A civil discussion right now off of the live stream. We have...
Let's see, on the one hand, insisting on taking down the live stream, not a bad idea. But, I mean, there's no point in having this fucking... I mean, okay. I mean, on the other hand, she's young enough that maybe she might actually turn around and realize that this is a horrible way to spend her life. She's only 21. That's young enough that there's at least a few major realizations of fundamental fuck-ups in one's life. There's still time for that. So, I mean, maybe there's some point. But, I mean, doing it when she's actually recording it for content is just nonsense.
40 minutes to the event. We'll see how many of them actually walk into the event. But here we go. This was my experience with the protesters who are protesting hate and false information at WSU. I'll get back with updates.
Okay. And that brings us to 10 minutes before the hour. God, legend. Jesus Christ, I mean... The KCNA big notes themselves less than... There was nothing legendary about that. It was less embarrassing than when Caitlin Bennett does it. I mean, I'll give you that. She handled it better than Caitlin Bennett. But just about anyone handles it better than Caitlin Bennett. Legend. Confronts protesters. Like, God. I mean, that's like the most milquetoast group of... liberals that she could have possibly run into. Okay, to finish out the out. I'm gonna back this up. I like this song. Oh, yes, you did move. Leonsti. Okay, let's back that bishop up. Okay. Trying to make sure I can still do the reverse Botvinnik structure while maintaining my ability to castle here. Got my knights where I need them. I can stumble through this piece on piano. Oh no, I can't do that. Gotta... Okay, now I can get my pawn up to e5 on the next move, and then we can get my knight over to d4 where it belongs. Yeah, I thought when you said you learned more that it was something in addition to that some didn't, so I wasn't completely sure about that. Understand now, though. Okay, that's fine. That bishop has been thoroughly batified at this point. That's not going anywhere. Okay, let's open up that F file. It's a better diagonal to get on because the pawns are going to get exchanged and shit. So it's not a bad place for that light square bishop to be in the long term. Okay, now I can get to d4. The obvious move would be to just take either with the knight or the pawn. But I kind of like having the knight where it is. So I reckon, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it with the pawn. As long as the knight's on d5, that d-pawn there, which is now an isolated queen's pawn, which is a nice thing for it to be from my perspective, is going to prevent the light-squared bishop from going anywhere. And now the dark-squared bishop is also a little bit more restricted. Okay, we're ending up in a very closed position. I don't get this very often. But it's one where I'm taking up way more space. I've got a definite lead in development. I can... Yeah. Can't do that because then the privileges will take it. I really don't want the privileges to take it. Okay. Don't mind that. Okay, where does the king go here? Can't go... Okay, that's basically the one place the king can go. I'm gonna do this. I don't think it hurts me. Oh, this is a nice little discovery if I can just get this knight someplace else. Oh, okay. Oh, that's excellent. GG, well timed there, just as we're hitting 1 o'clock. So, and that being the hour that is, I will say thank you very much for joining me tonight and every night lately, and I look forward to seeing you again on here next week, same time at 11:30 to 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Good night, and have a good one. And remember, you can never go back after you have deconstructed the word shampoo into its constituent parts.